I'm often asked about the usefulness of unilateral versus bilateral training, and full disclosure, I rarely make any unilateral training a point of emphasis for me, and I don't think the distinctions between them provide much value for many, but I'll give my broad take on it. If you want to build a broad base of athletic development, you probably should include both. Like, why not? Why intentionally rob yourself of getting strong on one leg? Why intentionally rob yourself of getting strong on two? But here's a really simple way to think about what each provides. The main limiting factor when doing unilateral work, pistol squat, skater squat, is usually the strength of the targeted tissue. Usually just the leg strength itself. Whereas with the bilateral exercises, deadlift, RDL, back squat, the limiting factor can often be something other than the targeted tissues of the legs. Oftentimes, the low back can be the limiting factor. So if your goal is to train high relative loading on certain targeted tissues, the unilateral exercises may be more effective in that regard. You can ensure that the muscles you want to train can be trained to their full potential with lower absolute loads and likely lower global fatigue. Now, if your goal is to become absolutely stronger, you're going to have to experience higher loads, and the demand to produce higher forces must increase. The bilateral work is obviously more conducive to this. This just encourages the organism as a whole to work harder to complete the task of moving the load. Bilateral work provides a more potent stress to the nervous system and a more potent stress to other parts of the body that may not necessarily be as directly involved with moving the load, like the muscles of the spine. And the bilateral work even provides a greater stimulus to the bones and ligaments that aren't necessarily contractile parts of the movement. And you probably get a greater endocrine response from the heavy bilateral work too. So as a quick summary, use the unilateral work for higher relative loading and the bilateral work for the high absolute loading. And yes, there's obviously other ways to frame this topic, but this can provide a very simple framework for people to use when planning out their training. So hopefully you found this video useful. That's all I have for it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.